Let the record reflect today's date is November 18th, 2020. The current time is 12:42 p.m. Could you state your name for the court, please?
Cassidy Flaidlin.
Could you stand up and raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can sit down. Are you aware you're being deposed in the case of the state of North Dakota versus Thomas Osiski?
Yes.
Have you been deposed before?
No.
In your deposition, you will be asked questions and you're going to be answering them under oath. Do you understand this?
Yes.
There are a few differences between a deposition and a typical conversation that I want to make you aware of. In a normal conversation, folks sometimes interrupt or talk over each other, but here it's important that we wait for each other to finish asking or answering a question before the others begin talking. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Second, since this is an oral transcription, the court cannot hear nods or other gestures or uh-huh. Thus, every answer needs to be verbal. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Finally, unlike a typical conversation, your answers today are under oath, and this subjects you to potential criminal charges of perjury for willfully giving false, misleading, or incomplete testimony under oath. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Is there any reason, such as being under stress, a physical or mental condition, or being under the influence of any substances that would prevent or limit you today from giving truthful answers to the questions?
No.
There is nothing wrong with asking to repeat a question. However, if you answer a question, I'm going to assume that you understood it. Do you understand this?
Yes.
If you need clarification on a question, you need to look at that counsel for clarification and not to anyone else. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Defense, would you like to examine this witness?
Yes.
The witness is yours.
Can you state your name and spell it?
Cassidy Flaidlin. CassidyFlaidland.
Miss Flaidlin, I am Reagan Lee, an attorney. I represent Mr. Thomas Osiski. This is a deposition in which I will ask you questions and you must answer them truthfully. Although no judge is present, this is a formal legal proceeding just like testifying in court, and you are under the same legal obligation to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If you do not understand any of my questions, feel free to say so and I will rephrase it. Before the deposition can be used in court, you will have the opportunity to read over it and correct any mistakes. Do you understand this?
Yes.
What is your relationship to Thomas Osiski?
I don't know him that well.
How often were you in contact with him?
I only saw him at Marty's.
What did Thomas's personality seem to be like?
Very self-centered, looked out for himself.
What do you know about the tour?
That Pat and Thomas were very excited about it.
How did Thomas act towards the idea of the tour?
It seemed like that he needed it because it seemed like he needed the money.
How did Thomas react when he found out the tour had been canceled?
He did not he was not happy about it. He needed the money for financial things, so he was not happy.
Could you tell from an outside view that Thomas was experiencing a financial crisis?
Not right away, but when they canceled the tour, you could tell.
Would Thomas have any reason to kill Marty?
No.
Were you at Marty's house at the time of the incident on Memorial Day?
No. As soon as I was going in, Thomas was leaving.
When did you get to Marty's house on Memorial Day?
Later that night.
Did you see Thomas walk out of the house with the gun?
No.
What is your relationship with Pat?
Been best friends since high school.
When did you first meet?
Junior high.
How often did he confide in you about his father?
He called me every now and then.
What do you know about Pat's previous family life?
That it was abusive and not good.
How did Pat cope with his family's troubles?
By listening and making music.
What do you know about how Leonard Skinner died?
That it was an accident and that he was drinking and he fell off the cliff.
How did Marty react to finding out he had a son?
He did not believe it at first.
Can you explain Marty's mood from the times you spent with him?
That he's a roller coaster. You don't know what Marty you're gonna get.
Did you see Marty drinking often?
He always had a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Did you see him taking drugs?
He always had his sleeping pills.
Explain the Saturday you spent with Pat the night before Marty died.
Me and Pat went out to a few bars, and after that, I went home, and I have no clue where he went.
Can you tell about the phone call you got from Pat?
That he was very upset.
How was he reacting to the news he just received?
Not well.
What time did you guys leave on Saturday night?
I left at 2, and I don't know where he went.
Did Pat go with you?
No.
Do you know where Pat went?
No.
Based on your experiences of being around Thomas, do you believe he is capable of killing Marty?
No.
Mr. P, may I approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
Can you please identify this item?
It is my transcript.
Can you please describe this item?
It is a transcript that I gave to the grand jury.
I offer this item into evidence as Defendant's Exhibit 1.
Let the record reflect the transcript as Defense Exhibits 1.
Can you read the highlighted section of your affidavit?
He's a self-centered egomatic, but I don't think that he has it in him to kill him. He's not the type. He's all show. I've been in the music business for over a decade now. Some guys have the edge and some guys don't. Duke can talk the talk, but if it came down to it, he would never be able to pull the trigger. If Marty is dead, he probably did it to himself.
You're talking about Thomas, correct?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Prosecution, would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes.
Can you speak up one more time? Would you like to cross-examine this witness?
Yes.
You may proceed.
When you were interviewed by Detective Fournier, you were unaware of what had happened to Marty, correct?
Yes.
You were very shocked when told that Marty had died, correct?
Yes.
Now focusing more on the interview, is it correct that you said, and I quote, Pat wouldn't do anything to hurt his meal ticket, aka Marty?
Yes.
And how long have you known Pat?
Since junior high.
Were you aware of what Pat's family was like growing up?
Yes.
Could you briefly describe his family life for the jury, please?
Very abusive, not good.
Did Pat spend a lot of time in his house growing up?
No.
What did Pat do in his free time since he wasn't ever home?
He would go somewhere and listen and make music.
Well, we're going to switch the subject here, but you and Pat were in a band together, right?
Yes.
And Pat met his father, Marty, through this band, correct?
Yes.
After they got reunited, did you ever spend time at the house with both of them?
Can you please repeat the question?
After they got reunited, did you ever spend time at the house with both of them?
Yes.
I understand from the interview that you knew about Marty's sleeping problem, correct?
Yes.
Could you please explain what you knew about his sleeping problem?
That he could never sleep.
Do you remember Pat telling you that I don't think my dad's sleeping pills are working because he is always in the music studio with the lights on at night working on music?
Can you please repeat that?
Do you remember Pat telling you that I don't think my dad's sleeping pills are working because he is always in the music studio with the lights on at night working on music?
No.
Okay, now let's talk about Thomas. Is it correct that you told Detective Fournier that Thomas is a piece of work and that you're happy to keep your distance from him?
Yes.
Is it true that Thomas is very angry with Marty about canceling the tour?
Yes.
It said in the interview that Thomas was very self-centered and only wanted the money from the tour. Was that correct?
Yes.
Did Thomas ever ask Marty when he decided to cancel the tour?
Can you please repeat that?
Did Thomas Osiski ever ask Marty why he decided to cancel the tour?
I don't know.
Thank you. That is all the questions I have.
Would defense like to redirect?
No.
All right. Let the record reflect. It is now 12:52 p.m. on November 18th, 2020.